Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I would like to offer the A11 amendment.
Senator Kunesh offers the A11 amendment. The Secretary will report the amendment.
Senator Kunesh moves to amend House File number 33, the unofficial engrossment as follows, page 233 after line 21, insert. This is the A11 amendment.
Senator Kunesh.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment is quite near and dear to my heart. It increases the gross income limit for SNAP, supplemental nutrition for our families, from 165% to 200% of the federal poverty guideline, and this is an allowable increase through the federal broad-based eligibility policy. Members, 25 years ago, I was one of those parents that went to the state for help when I needed it. I was a single mom. I was running a family daycare. I had 3 young children, and working part-time as a server and going to college on the weekends to get my teaching degree. At that time, I did my best to save as much money as I could to get me through my student teaching period. But unfortunately, by a fluke, the government went on shutdown, and I wasn't able to get my teaching license when I finished my education and received my degree. There came the night where I sat down at my table and looked at my checkbook and realized I had really no money left. I had a house, I had 3 children, I needed to take care of them. And I remember my dad telling me that the resources that Minnesota has in the form of welfare is there to help families in need. My father was St. Cloud City Attorney, he was Stearns County Attorney, and he also worked very closely with the Director of Social Services in Stearns County. And so he knew the value of investing in our families. It's not easy to be a parent and have to go apply for assistance. Especially at that time, it was almost a shameful experience. I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't even want my kids to see me using food stamps at the grocery store. And it wasn't long ago that one of my daughters said to me, you know, Mom, as much as you hid it, we saw that. So members, today we are here to ensure that we have those resources available to our families. This amendment increases the gross income limit for SNAP, as I said, from 165 to 200%. 200% is the federal poverty guideline in the highest allowable limit. And there are 18 other states across this nation that allow that 200% for SNAP eligibility. This is an incredibly small cost to the state because it uses federal SNAP funds. In fact, the investment for Minnesota is only $10,000 in fiscal year 22-23. And it's only $4,000 in fiscal year 24-25. That's $14,000 of investment in our investment in our families. So that comes to around $3,500 per year as Minnesota's investment. It's only $291.66 every month. And what is our return on an investment? Minnesota's return on this meager investment is going to make a difference to 3,200 households across Minnesota. For every $1, we will get a return of $1,400 per month. That's over $20 million per year that we are leaving on the table, that we are depriving our families with those food needs and the nutritional values at a deficit. So really and truly, who in their right mind would pass this kind of investment and allow it to go untapped? It is our responsibility as elected officials to invest in Minnesota and to not leverage this kind of return on investment would certainly be a derelict in our duty to our society. If you look on your desk, you'll see that there are some handouts here, and I would appreciate you taking a look at these handouts, because there really are the facts. We know that our families have especially been in tragedy during this COVID pandemic, and many families who were once very secure are now going to food banks, are looking for other assistance to feed their families. If you look on, there's one that's raising SNAP income limit. On the back, you'll read the story of a retired couple. Imagine age 73 and 74, and your retirement doesn't cover your food needs. This is a real tragedy in this state, and we can make that little tiny investment, that investment of $291.66 a month, to ensure that families with children, that adults, that are elderly have the nutritional resources available to them. How can we let this money go from the federal government? How can we not invest in our communities? And so, members, I want you to take a minute and ponder this, and I'm hoping that we can really address the increased food insecurity and the hardship that is coming out of this COVID-19 pandemic. There's one statistic that by July 21st in 2020, 37% of Minnesotans reported some level of food insecurity. That was a year ago. Imagine what it's like right now. If you knew, and now you do know, so you have to, it's our obligation to make that difference, to leverage $1 to get a return of up to $40 million to put food on the tables of our family members, your neighbors, your family members, your constituents, and you don't take advantage of that. How is that being a good steward of our communities? Let's put our personal and our political ideologies aside. Let's make this tiny, tiny investment in addressing hungry children, our adults and elderly. And members, I would ask you to vote green on this amendment, the A11.